We will start here. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the, I believe, second live call of 2025. Coach Kate hosted one last week that was very well attended. If you haven't given it a look yet and you are interested in picking up more clients this year, which I know many coaches probably have that on their list for 2025 to expand or grow their roster, uh, please go give that one a look. She had Mike Milner on. Mike is a well-known figure in the fitness industry for helping coaches to build their businesses. So again, if that is something that is of interest of you, please go give that session a review if you haven't already. Uh, Rafael, I see has already popped into the chat box. I was asking before we hit record today, if you have any goals for your either your professional business for business development or for yourself in 2025 that you're looking to establish, seeing as yes, we are in the month of January and this conversation is probably being beaten to death, but always good to keep those goals front and center and learn from each other and gain motivation from each other as well. Uh, let's see what we got in the chat box so far. So Rafael is looking to double their paying clients. Are you currently at 25 or is the magic number for you 25?
No, I was at 16, but I got 12 now. Some of them already
Okay,
finished, and I'm trying to double it.
gotcha. Okay. Are there any strategies you have in place that you're currently working on to try and get those numbers back into that magic number 25?
To be honest, just focusing on marketing, trying to get better at that, and
Mhm,
trying to engage with more people, doing a lot of in-person networking as well in my city.
mhm.
Basically, that's what I'm doing. But I'm always open to, to see what other options can I use to grow my business.
Fantastic. And maybe some other coaches here are also in a similar position and have some strategies to lend. One thing I would ask is you finished with four folks. What did the kind of the exit process look like? That was for you, Raphael.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear well there was I'm in my car and there was a car passing by and I didn't hear well the
Yeah, no
question.
worries. So you mentioned that you'd finished with four clients recently, so your number was at 16, now it's at 12. So I was curious to know what does the exit process look like for your coaching business while you finish with those four clients?
So usually I had them for about 9 months, each of them. So, but these people that I didn't resign them because they were actually not making any progress, just because they were not committed. So
Mhm.
that's one of my goals this year too, trying to see what else can I do to, to hold people accountable. I think I'm doing well, but maybe I just can do better this year. I don't know. But the main reason why I didn't resign them was that they were not doing anything. So they were just paying, but not making any progress because they were not committed to do anything. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. Uh, yeah, I mean, so this is one that I've heard before, and we see it pop up. The discussion pops up occasionally in the coaches community, in people weigh in on it regularly. I have some thoughts on this one, but I want to open it up to our coaches here. If you are working with a client and you are not noticing progress on their part, and let's say you're ending or you're at the end of kind of the term of your coaching relationship, what strategies do you use there? What are your kind of go-to moves? Is there anything that comes to mind in this situation that we may be able to help Raphael? Hey, Ange.
Hey, um, thinking about, I think I'm sure I've been in this situation. It's a really common, right? I think I like to think that in those situations, I'd kind of get ahead of it before we got really close to the end of their contract time. If they, we're 2 months out and they're not making progress and they're not like ticking off their accountability boxes, they're not checking in and that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like that's the time where you've got a lot of questions to ask. Like, your coaching call from that time includes the question, do we need to revisit what the goal was? Is this goal still important to you? What kind of actions are you taking at the moment to help you get there? Asking them what they think about the lack of progress so far and what they want to do with regards to addressing it. Yeah, like I'd probably try to get ahead of it a good couple of months before it was coming up. Like, if it's becoming obvious that they're not being compliant, I suppose is the word. But yeah, like redefining again. Do we need to redefine your goal? Is it even still important to you? Do we need to be looking at something else?
Fair enough. I like the amount of disdain you use for the word compliant. Clearly, there's no better word there, but it is one that pops up in coaching quite a bit.
I couldn't think of
Uh,
another word for it, but I hate that word. I don't want them to think that they must
it,
obey me.
yeah, and I mean I think part of that is at kind of the heart of this question or the conversation that I'm bringing forward here on your behalf, Raphael. So I remember being a young coach, feeling the need that my service delivers kind of an endpoint. Client comes down and says, I want to lose 50 pounds. Here's the amount of time that I have. Uh, we do the math and it's like, well, that works out to about 6 months of coaching. Are you ready and willing to do that? And they agree, they're very committed. Their money's on the table. They've already paid it before you've even asked. It's a great feeling as a coach to be there. The opposite end of that spectrum is it's 5 months and 3 weeks and they've lost not 50 pounds. And it feels like they've been stagnating for a while and they're not really, uh, again, we'll use the word compliant. They're not doing the things that they had agreed to do, the things that they know and will get them to that kind of target. As a coach, that feeling is the worst. It is a pretty crappy feeling. No one wants to have that feeling. I think the reaction to not re-sign that client may be seen from a coaching perspective as this is a kindness that I'm doing for them because they're not making progress with me. This gives them an opportunity to explore other things. I'm curious to know how you handle that conversation. What does it look like on your end in terms of not re-signing them? Is it something that you mutually agree? Is it something where it's more unilateral and you as a coach get to kind of like pull the plug there? What does that look like?
So I usually, 8 weeks before their time is over in the program, I would have them fill out a questionnaire where I'm asking what their wins were through the time that they were working with me. Also asking what are their plans moving forward, and if they feel like they would need support moving forward. So, and of course, I would treat this as a new opportunity to resign this client. Either if they had progress or not, I'm always willing to help them. To be honest, is sometimes is I feel like, okay, so this is a relief that I won't have this client anymore. To be honest, because yeah, it feels really horrible. Like sometimes make me just doubt of my abilities and skills as a coach. So because I've done everything that I can, even those small actions, really easy to complete, and they are not even doing those little things. So I have that questionnaire. I go over that. If they feel that they can commit, I would go ahead and just give them another opportunity to work with them. But sometimes I just let them go if I feel like they are going to be a pain in the neck again.
Fair. And I mean, we all get to, as individual business owners, like we get to draw that line where it's like this client, the juice is just not worth the squeeze on this one. Uh, for me personally, it's a client who cancels late and then constantly reschedules and then cancels those rescheduled appointments. Those are clients where I have a much shorter uh, runway for them. Uh, that client, it's like when they're coming to the end of their current kind of commitment with me, uh, if they're like, yeah, I'm not too keen to continue, that's perfectly fine. Especially, a 7 a.m. client who cancels at 6:45 in the morning. That client is very short on my list. Uh, That being said, there's something that I want to focus on in your response where it's like this client is not kind of participating. They're not actively kind of directing their own approach. It makes me question my own skills. I think it's one of the most common things that coaches feel when working with clients. And a lot of it stems from our belief of what it is that I deliver. What is at the core of my kind of business, my reputation largely. If people work with me for a long period of time and there is no physical change, does that mean that my systems don't work or I as a professional am less capable than either I believe or than others may believe that as well? So that's something that I see quite often. It's something that I experienced myself starting out as a coach. And it only really changed when I realized that's not my job. Someone else's body changing is not my responsibility. Because at the end of the day, I don't get to sit with them and cook their meals, or I don't move the spoon to their mouth. I don't lace up their shoes for them to go to the gym. It's just there's a level of disconnect of control that I don't possess. So, what is it that I can do, or what is it that I can control as a professional? I can control how I show up. I can control my communication with them, my frequency of communication, my professionalism of communication. I can make sure that I'm uh, staying on top of information so that I can provide the best filter for them. I can provide a space where they are allowed to kind of recognize where they have room for improvement, where they can kind of let out some of their emotions. Like these are all the things that I provide, and none of them really result in direct weight loss or body transformation. Uh, there was a presentation I gave a while ago, and I have no idea where I got this quote from, but it found its way to me just before the presentation, and it was super useful for kind of framing everything. Essentially, what it says is, what does a farmer do? And the question is, or the response is, a farmer grows crops. And the response is actually, a farmer doesn't grow crops. A farmer creates the environment in which crops can grow, which is, I think, very similar to what does a coach do? A coach doesn't make you gain or lose weight or gain or lose muscle. A coach helps you create the environment in which change is possible. Which leads me kind of to the final point here is if someone is working with me and they are not seeing change at a rate that they believe is acceptable or that I believe is acceptable, I strongly believe they should stay with me if possible for them because outside of that system of support, they are unlikely to see a miraculous turnaround here. So if a client stays with me, the chances of them still taking action in the future, however small, are better than them not working with me or not working with any professional. So one of the reasons I asked kind of like, what does the exit look like is you are by all means entitled to say, I do not want to work with this person anymore. Results aside, they could be crushing it and have a great transformation. You're just like, I loathe seeing this person's name pop up in emails. I don't want to work with them anymore uh, for multiple reasons. And then if you are going to have that exit process, I would encourage you, like, if they're not seeing any fault, they're still willing to pay you and work with you to keep them around because you help them maintain the idea of change is still possible. You haven't kind of shut that door. And I realize also it's like, that's a pretty self-serving take coming from someone who gains, who is financially incentivized to keep that person around. But if you ask yourself, like, what other opportunities have they explored? And can I at least point them in the direction? So maybe at my exit, it's like, I'll send them to another coach. I can help them look into another system that might fit them better. I can help them to have a conversation with their doctor or another medical professional that they've been avoiding having. And then that's an avenue where they can continue that work and still remain supported without potentially me being involved. But if they got nothing else and staying with you still helps them maintain the idea that I am working on change, that change is still a possibility for me, I believe you are offering a valuable service. And it gets you a little bit closer to 25, which is worthwhile. So there's something to consider here for all the coaches here. Uh, Someone's iPhone just popped on. I'm sorry, I don't recognize the face just yet. But did you have something you wanted to contribute? Fair. Uh, yeah, Raphael, I mean, if this is a prompt for you or a not so subtle prompt for you to reach out to those four folks and say, hey, have you tried anything else at this time? If not, I may have space for you in coaching still. Consider reaching out to them to see if they're still willing to participate in that journey. Because someone who has support from a committed coach, a coach that feels so strongly that they want the best for their clients, even if it's not with them, I think they'll benefit from having you as opposed to kind of just floating free.
Absolutely, that helps, and I think I will apply that. Yeah, I think there are some of them that yeah, even though they are not committed to everything they need to do, they are willing to pay, and some of them are respectful, like showing up on time with the appointments and all that. So yeah, that is a good point of view. Like just giving them the opportunity to hold, to have that expectation that they can change their lives and they are paying for it. So why not to help them with that?
And I mean, I think it's worth like thinking about what is the kind of like the ethical consideration here. And I know that's what leads a lot of coaches to say, hey, I don't want to take your money anymore because you're not in space to make those changes. But I don't know if we get to dictate as coaches to say, you're not ready for change. What we can say is like, hey, let's help them to moderate that level of change, to have better expectations based on what their current resources are and what their current output is for those coaching actions. But to tell someone you're not ready for this uh, may shut the door on them. And then the one other thing I'll add here is, what does the coaching or what does the cycle for acquisition of clients look like from the client side of things? Quite often, someone is considering coaches for weeks or months or years before they actually reach out to a coach. And then the time period in between coaching can also be incredibly long. So the next time you're speaking with like a newer client, it's worth asking like, hey, what have you tried in the past? You'll often hear, well, I did this, or I did this program, or I spoke with this professional, or they'll say, hey, I've been following your work for a long time. Like we see that in PN coaching all the time. We're currently in the midst of our January coaching launch. And feedback we get from new clients all the time is, I've been following PN for years and I've considered working with a coach. And then for whatever reason, some series of events in their life has led them to say, like, this is the moment that I'm going to go for it. And it could be maybe they have more resources or they have more time, or they've hit a kind of a place where they're like, I'm really drawing a line in the sand here and I need help now before things get worse. So whenever someone kind of discontinues coaching, that window closes for some amount of time. And it could be a long time before they consider, I need to work on my health again. So our job, part of our job at least, is keeping that window open for as long as we can. I guarantee every day that they're working with you is going to be a little bit better at least, or they're going to be thinking about the principles that you're sharing with them more regularly than they will be when they're not with a coach. Uh, Anna, it looks like you're picking up on this conversation as well. So, what do you do when you share all those concepts with the client and they're like, I don't need accountability? Uh, yeah, there is a little bit of a tone there in terms of like accountability or compliance. Uh, I will share all of those things with the client as kind of like part of the exit. So, what is it that you're going to work on? Do you have a direction from here? Because if you have a direction from here and you feel quite confident in your ability to work without me, then great. I've done my job. I've gotten you to the next thing. You feel good about where you are. You've taken the skills and conversations that we've discussed, and you're ready to move forward without me. That's fantastic. That's part of the job. That's part of the natural cycle of coaching. If they're at that place and they're like, doesn't really benefit me to have these conversations with you anymore, then we shake hands and move on. There's nothing else that I need to say in that. Uh, if I'm trying to tell someone that I don't think they're ready, uh, then it kind of tips the scale in terms of like ethical coaching. I better have a really, really good, solid reason to present to this person. Otherwise, now it kind of really feels self-serving. So, like that conversation can definitely tip both ways, but make sure you know what your rationale is for, hey, I really think you should stay, or I think you are correct and you should head out.
Thank you. I have a follow-up question.
Please.
So when somebody says, okay, I'm ready to be on my own, do you ever set up a set of criterion that means, hey, I was doing really well on my own, but when I get over here, that's the trigger to say I could use more help again? Kind
Yeah,
of a
so
framework.
I let them know, like, again, my doors remains open, especially if it was like a pleasurable coaching experience with this person. Uh, like I shared with Raphael, like this person shows up regularly, they're receptive, they share information, they communicate well. Like this is someone who I want to keep around. They're a good client for me to work with. If they are at a place where I feel good, I'm gonna hit the road. I'll let them know if you notice signs that were similar to what brought you to coaching initially after a few weeks or months. I hope they don't creep in. I hope that the skills that you've acquired uh, are solid enough that we only kind of message each other on Instagram every time we find a funny meme, and that's about it. Uh, but if you're noticing those things, then I would encourage you to reach out and we can have a conversation and decide if coaching is right for you. Uh, I've started to see the coaching model less so as like a one and done, and more so what you would see in line with kind of someone who's working with a counselor or a therapist. It's like you use the support when you need the support, and then once you feel like I'm not currently benefiting from the support, then you don't use it as much. And then you come back if you notice that there are similar patterns emerging that you can use help with.
Or if maybe life events that you know to be triggers happen, you can.
Exactly. Yeah, like if your circumstances have changed in a way that you find that more support would be helpful right now, great. Let's work as that support as coaches.
Thank you.
No worries. Just jumping back into the chat box here. I see that I know you're working on some personal goals yourself this year. Uh, how are they going? Are they currently in process?
Yes. Yes. I am. No more treats. I had a house guest who
Well,
brought treats into my home, and wow, were they delicious. And I haven't had treats in years. So I just said, you know what? This is really fun and amazing. I'm just going to enjoy it for now and then fix it later, which is what I'm doing. And I have full confidence I can do that. I'm not stressed out about it. I just am ready to be less fluffy again.
that is fair. Good luck on the journey to being less fluffy.
Thank you.
Alex, are you still around? I saw that Alex is looking to start and launch their business and take it from there. So again, I would say, Alex, if you had an opportunity, check out Kate's Coaches Connect from last week. It should be up on our YouTube already. And then in a couple months, depending on if you are currently enrolled in our level one nutrition course, uh, our CBK course should be picking up again in a few weeks for those who are interested in getting a little bit more structure to building their business and answering some of those more tricky questions from a marketing and business building perspective. Someone's iPhone. I don't know if we've met before. I'm Coach Jeremy. It's nice to meet you.
Happy me.
I was not Raquel, but it's nice to meet you
Oh,
as well.
okay. Nice meeting you.
Hi, maybe you're talking about me, Nicole.
The name is literally someone's iPhone.
That's actually me. Hey, I'm Heather. And I actually thought I changed that, so I apologize. I used to work in a high school and I didn't want them to know what my phone was to try and like get my hotspot, so I changed it. So I apologize. So
Fair.
I'm Heather and I
Nope.
just finished level 1 and I was on the call last week, which was very enlightening. And I am just same thing, trying to start the business and figure out what that looks like.
Excellent. For folks who
So
weren't there last week, what were any things that you took away from that call?
well, my big takeaway is I just need to have action. Stop making excuses, stop like finding other things to do, and just, you know, do some posts, do
Dive
an
in.
email. Say it again.
Dive in.
Dive in. Yeah, and it's so intimidating. And but I think that we have to realize that the people who need us will watch us, and the people who don't can keep scrolling by. And I just need to take that advice. Easier said than done.
Fair enough, yeah. Are there any actions that you have lined up for this week?
So I did an blog post and an email, and then a post referring people to it. And then my next thing is to make, and I always forget the names of everything. This is all a technology hurdle for me, is to make like a freebie, like a list of protein snacks or something, so that people will put their email in and sign up for my email, so I have more people on my email.
Lead magnet.
Yes, that's what it's called. Yeah. And then, of course, I have to figure out how to do said lead magnet and how to hook it into what I already have, and yeah, all that kind of intimidating stuff.
For folks who are in a similar boat to Heather, potentially Nicole as well, maybe Raquel, have you told folks what you're working on? Just kind of like in conversation.
You're your walking billboard. So I pretty
100%.
much live, talk, and I don't mean to talk about it, but I'm a nurse and talk about health and nutrition all the time because people always ask me how I look the way I look. And I tell them because it's consistency, and I tell them it's nutrition. 80% of it is nutrition. If you don't, it doesn't work. Meaning I put both of them together. I talk about it by teaching, and they want to learn more. And I make it as longevity. Talk to them about, think of your 80s and 90s. What are you going to be thankful for? Meaning, are you going to be thankful that you look skinny, or are you going to be thankful that you're strong and learn nutrition? And can you help others, your family, cholesterol, diabetes, all of it? You sell by how you talk and what you
That is a
say.
powerful message.
Before you know it, they will be asking you for help. Trust
That's
me,
awesome. I
my
love that.
business is growing.
Yeah.
And I love helping and teaching because that's the whole point. If your goal is to help and teach what you've learned, they don't know what you know. You know more than the basics. They want to learn the basics. They want to learn from you. Teach them. Teach them what you know. Make it something that they take as a lifestyle, not just because they want to look pretty for, like I said, for their next bikini or their next vacation. I lose clients only because they see as a long term. Once they come back, they're like, you're right, this is a long term, and I want to learn. So it's not short. They realize it's not a short term thing. They realize this is going to take time, and they want to learn the habits. You want to teach them consistency, habits, and tricks, how to deal with life and make it a lifestyle. If you talk from your heart, they're going to come. And if they see how much the joy you get out of by teaching, they're going to come. And you're your walking billboard. Really, you are. The more you talk about it, the more that you show how you live your life, and you're consistent, and you post, and you show what you're about, you'll find your click. And find someone that mentors you if you need to. Find someone that you're like, I like what she talks about, how she talks, how she represents herself. And you'll make it your own in your own way. Sorry, that's my TED Talk. I
We
hope it helps.
appreciate you sharing
I
your
hope it helps.
philosophy. Yeah.
I love helping. Hispanic, and I
Well,
wish I would have learned a lot that I know now. And it'll be a shame on me to keep it to myself and not share it with others.
that is, I think, a very useful framework to think about when you are in a coaching space and you have a message to share. Uh, Part of your ethical coaching approach is, if I don't share this information with others, where will they receive it from?
Hmm.
And will they potentially fall into pitfalls where it's like more predatory coaching styles, uh, where they're getting poor level of
Exactly.
information and not great support?
Nope, none at all. Very poor information. They're lacking all of it. They just hear things here and there, and they don't know the whole picture. They just see 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, I'll have you looking like this 12-week program. That they don't look at the whole picture as longevity, 80s, 90s. Like I said, I work in healthcare. I'm a nurse, well as a nutritional coach. I've seen both sides of the spectrum. I've seen decubitus ulcers. I've seen people not being able to be able to get up from to go to the restroom. I'm a nurse. I've had to tell patients, I'll be right back, but because another urgency came up, they had to go to the bathroom on themselves. But because I had another urgency, someone fell, someone was dying. There's urgencies, but that person that urinated himself could have avoided that situation. Sometimes we think that we can't avoid it. We all starts with health and nutrition. We could avoid so many situations just by health and nutrition, not by a doctor. Doctors that are amazing are the ones that tell you, okay, how are we going to get you off this medication? Now, how are we going to increase this medication? That's how you have to teach justice and nutrition. You have to teach them so that they can do it for the rest of their life, not just for a little bit of time.
I don't know what's up.
Yeah, I also work with the elderly, and it's great when it's someone who does have the will, but I think also building that will and creating that tone for the rest of your life is really important. My client right now he was just about ready to get out of there, and there was an accident, and he fell again and had to have surgery on the 17th of December. And he has lost a lot of strength. The pain medications have been really hard on him, and he has a very low pain tolerance. But he has a new CNA, and that nurse told him, and he told me, he said, unlike a lot of people in here, he has the will and he has the strength. And I noted he also has the love and support. And a lot of people care. And so when those things come together, he said he can pull himself back together. Nobody who looks at him thinks that, but I do. And I'm so glad there's somebody there who does. But if he didn't believe it from the inside, like you're saying, is it Raquel? Am I saying your name right? Nurse Raquel? Yeah, okay. So he needs people like you who believe in him and are also just going to be honest. This is a triage situation. If someone's going to die, you're probably going to sit in it, and I'm really sorry, but sometimes we have to. It might be the thing that drives them to work harder. They put my friend in a chair. I just want to tell a quick story. They put my friend in a chair, and he texted everybody. He texted the whole support system. They forgot me in a chair. And so finally they got to me. I'm his health POA. And I said, okay, Bob, you're in a chair. I pretty much knew what was going on. I said, so what's the opportunity here? You can call everybody and feel badly and focus on your pain, or you can use your strength and sit up as tall as you possibly can and breathe. That's all I'm asking
That's
you to do.
beautiful.
Just sit and breathe. I had two other people on the conference call. They were like, Anna, come help. He's this. And I said, he just needs to reframe this into an opportunity to build strength. And that's what they were trying to offer him. But he was framing it like they were shorthanded and neglecting him. So it just was a little shift, and it really helped.
Yep. Sometimes, honestly,
Thank you
like
for
to me,
sharing that story.
Thank you.
yeah, I agree. Sorry, I could talk forever. I'm just very passionate
All good.
about this.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing that passion here. I'm curious to know if there are other folks who are also kind of in the midst of that early stage of business building. What strategies are you using? So Heather shared that she's building some lead generation tools, looking to, it sounds like you're kind of building out from an email marketing standpoint. Are folks using other tools aside from email marketing?
Yeah.
Hi guys. My name is Rebecca. I'm totally new here. Sorry, I'll put my video on. Um, sorry, can
How's
you
it
hear
going?
me? It's
Yeah,
good. It's good.
perfect.
So, I have no idea how this is going to go. So I got my PN cert about a little over a year ago, and I'm just like now starting to use it because I left my corporate job in June, and then I went to a personal training school. So I'm doing personal training at a gym, but I want to do more nutrition coaching on the side. So I just found 4 people and offered them 4 weeks of free coaching in January. So far, it's going really good. We've only had 2 weeks now, but I'm just hoping that, you know, a couple of them will stay with me. So that's my only strategy, but that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. Any learning takeaways that you've gotten so far from your 4 test clients?
I don't know that I have any big takeaways yet. Um, it just feels good. I feel like I'm helping them, which feels really good. Yeah.
That's the best part of this job. In
Yeah.
terms of knowing when you have big takeaways, you'll definitely know, and they'll most likely look like, I'm definitely going to do something different to what I did last time there, or I would do this
Oh, yeah.
differently.
Okay.
Uh, oh, yeah, you're in a very kind of like new space for a lot of this stuff. Like you've gone through the professional development side of things, which is great. Most of your learning is going to come from the environment that you've created for yourself now. So you have 4 test clients, which is amazing. That means that there are 4 people that you communicated to. They understood the proposition that you have for them and the value that you could potentially provide, and you're noticing benefits from them. So you're doing some things right here, and you've taken the step that a lot of folks never actually take, which is talk to human beings. Just let them know, hey, this is what I'm working on, especially people who are close to you, because a lot of, or you have some existing relationship with, chances are they can use your help. And also, if they know and like you, they want to help you as well. So I'm not sure where you found these folks. Maybe they're family, friends, colleagues, or people you've had some passing acquaintance with, but you were able to communicate to them in a way that makes sense that they wanted to engage in coaching. So good job on that front. Uh,
Yeah, thanks.
do you have any systems in place to kind of capture the experience so you can reflect on it later to either improve things or to demonstrate value to future people who you might not have a similar relationship with?
Not really. I'm just keeping an Excel spreadsheet for each of them with my notes, and for each one of them, we came up with some long-term goals, some short-term goals, and then a habit that each one of them is working on, like very short term. So
Mhm.
I'm just keeping that updated. And then after each call, just sending them a summary. This is what we agreed on, what we're going to work on. And then if I have any takeaways for them, I'll send them articles or additional information if it's helpful for them. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think overall, they've said it's just really helpful to have someone to know that you and I are going to be on a call and we're going to be talking about it. It helps keep it in their mind. So they're definitely, I think, feeling the value from it. And yeah, it's been really good.
That is fantastic. And I mean, I would even actually, I don't mean to be combative, but to answer the question of, am I keeping notes or for future? It's like you are. Those session notes will be things that will reveal more information and give you something to reflect on as you move through those clients. So you have that for short term, essentially for the next conversation. But you can also look back and then share that with them when you go from week 1 to wherever this engagement leads to.
Mm,
So being able to recap those things and share with them, hey, here's how you may have changed without kind of noticing the specifics of change here. Clients are almost always going to be very geared towards the physical change, which we know from a timescale perspective is closer to months and years than it is to days and weeks. But
mhm.
psychological change can happen at a much more varied time scale. So if they came into you in session 1 and 2, and this was a core complaint that they had, but in 3 and 4, they've now implemented some skills and they're not seeing those things anymore, being able to reflect back and say, hey, remember when that was your biggest issue and you're no longer dealing with that anymore? May not see it in the mirror and it may not show up in photographs right away, but you as a coach get to hold up that mirror to them and say, this is how things have changed. Being able to track that and then deliver that to the client specifically, but also to future clients, whether you share these via social or you just share it by word of mouth, can be quite useful. It also helps to build your self-confidence as a coach. So consider that you're doing the thing. You are acting as a coach right now. The next step will probably be formalizing some of these relationships or getting other folks in, demonstrating your track record of success so that you can start to earn some financial income from it. But for all the big things that a coach does, you're doing the big stuff. So good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rebecca, last week, that was one of the things that Mike suggested was to get 5 clients and to do it for free. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty hesitant to put that on my Facebook page because I don't want people to think they can get free stuff. And I know it's kind of attracting. So can you tell me, how did you decide who to get and like, how did you do that? I would love to learn.
Yeah, so I posted in a community board for my neighborhood, and then I probably got like 15 to 20 private messages from people wanting to be involved, and I just kind of I just filtered a little bit, I looked at their profile, tried to get a sense of maybe who might this person be. And then I also just considered, how did they approach me? Did they give me some sort of story and tell me why they need help? And so I gravitated towards the people that I felt seemed really invested. And so far, I think I got 4 really good people that way.
That's a great idea because they're not necessarily your close companion, that's where I feel so awkward, like putting it on like my personal page, but putting it in a community group is genius. Thank you. I appreciate that. That really helps.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's nice too because they live nearby.
So 2 things I would say there. One, I hope you have the entire list of everyone who's reached out to you and you've reached out to all of them to let them know, even if they didn't qualify as clients this time, let them know, hey, I really appreciate you reaching out in the future, or give them kind of a timeline to say, in a couple of weeks, I'll be launching a little bit, you can call it a soft launch, you can go full scale, whatever it is you want, and let them know that I'll be ready to take on more people. Then I will reach out to you to let you know. And then if you want to reserve a space, here's how you can reserve a space.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Scarcity is not one of my favorite ways to market, but it does work on humans. When people are told you have 72 hours to act now before you lose this thing that you didn't know existed 4 days ago, people seem to really gravitate towards those things, and it does influence decision making. It doesn't sound like that's what you were doing anyway. You were just looking for the people who you felt you were best able to help and who you could start with currently. But certainly message all the folks. This was a shower thought of mine that I think is, if I were starting off again, what would I do? I would let folks know that I'm offering the service at a severely discounted rate. So maybe my coaching service at its full cost is going to be $700 a month, just a random number. But I'm going to offer it for $150 for this first period of time. It uses an element of scarcity there, that this deal will not always be the deal, but it also helps to anchor my price at a much higher price point. The other thing is, if you think of that number, you're like, whoa, I would never charge that, or my market can't bear that number. The good news is you're the owner of this business. You can continue to charge whatever you want. So if going from 150 to 700 sounds like a crazy step, then it's like, great, you know what? I'm running another promotion this month, and this one is going to be including maybe a little bit more bells and whistles, and I'm charging $300 a month now. So it is a useful strategy if you are concerned about working at higher price points. It anchors your price at something higher than what you currently are charging. So there's perceived value gain there because they're getting it at a discount. And then you can always change those numbers to be either higher or lower. No one is tracking you that closely that you make, wait a minute, you said last week it was this, and now it's slightly this. It's like, yeah, I am my own business operator. I get to change the number if I want to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Cool. It sounds like you have a fertile place to start. Keep us posted on how things go for you.
Yeah, will do. This has been helpful so far.
Glad to hear it. Heather, hopefully the idea of kind of reaching out to some folks, either strangers or even working, I think, with people who you have an existing relationship with, leveraging the idea that it's like, I would like to help people. I would like to help people who I know and enjoy talking with. Those are probably people that I have some existing relationship with. They are also more primed to help you because human reciprocity works like that. If you are offering me something, I want to be able to offer you something in return, typically. I think what makes that kind of relationship a little bit scary for some folks, for newer coaches, is the idea of like, how successful can this be? Especially if they're just helping me just to help me. They're not actually invested in coaching. The good news is, like I was talking about with Raphael, as a coach, your role is not to provide them with change. Your goal is to create the ad environment. So if that is the skill that you're working on, where you're like, I'm getting my systems in place, I'm understanding how to run a coaching call, I'm gathering all my resources for future use, and I was able to do those things. These people didn't stick around for very long, but they don't need to. And if they do stick around and they do want to participate in coaching, then it's definitely more of a win. But understand that this first stage of coaching is very much figuring out, what am I doing? Let me make mistakes really quickly, and then let me address those mistakes. So hopefully that takes down some of the fear of kind of diving in here and understanding that you don't got to get this perfect. Working with people that you know is often a recipe for a little bit of a rocky coaching experience, but chances are anyone you work with at this point is going to be a little bit rocky because you're just figuring shit out. So if you are kind of in a shallow pool, can't find a lot of folks, those are the people I'd encourage you to reach out to. Whoever kind of puts up their hand first.
Yeah, I love
Nicole,
that.
you
I
were
think
able
that's
to pop
great.
on. Yeah, hopefully next week we hear back from you, and you have a few folks who have put up their hands, and you started that initial coaching rapport with them. Getting someone
Yeah, I
to
think I
a
just have
first
to
great
jump
step.
in and
Yeah,
say it again.
get someone to fill out an intake form. That is the first step to almost every coaching relationship, and being able to sit down and review it with them is an essential skill that you'll need to learn as you're working through your coaching development.
Love it. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
they don't got to set a PR. They don't got to drop 2 dress sizes. You just need to work on having a conversation of what the intake form assessment forms look like.
No, that's a great idea.
Nicole, I saw you pop in and out a couple times there. What are you working on these days?
Hi. I am still in the hi. I'm still actually doing the course, so I'm not quite finished yet. But I started it because I had my own transformation, so to speak, my own journey, and I partnered with a health and wellness company that sells like clean products. And so through that company, we also coach. We coach people as they sign up for the 30-day program. And for me, I wanted to learn how to be a coach. I was like, okay, I tried the products, I had my own results. I know that it works, but I want to be able to give people something that they can actually use and that actually transforms their life and be able to actually coach past the program. And so that's why I
Amazing.
signed up for this program. My background is originally in human development and like sociology. So I'm more on the mindset part naturally. So I wanted to learn the nutrition part for myself.
That is fantastic. And that will be a very powerful parent, being able to bring the sociology, psychology aspect of human development into coaching. They're a match made in heaven. So hopefully you can bring all of those tools to the table with those folks who are jumping in for kind of that 30-day commitment, and you can help them to see, like Raquel mentioned, that it goes beyond 30 days and help them to develop a mindset that is a little bit more aligned with that.
I love what you said about like the farmer analogy. Like we are not creating the transformation, we're creating an environment for the change to actually happen. And that is like the place I'm in, like, okay, well, how do I get them to buy in? Like create an environment where they can see that there is opportunity for transformation, and then they'll come.
Exactly. And I mean, part of creating that environment is just being a welcoming human being yourself. So you come in with uh, ears open, mouth closed a little bit more initially, and then answer questions as they provide them. Uh, Actually, I will say that a lot of the beginning of the coaching relationship is me talking way more than I'm comfortable with, a little bit like today. But as we start to develop rapport, then I get to sit back and notice that they take charge of their process a lot more. And that is one of the things I love pointing out to clients, to let them know, hey, you've decided on the last couple of things we've worked on. You've been able to kind of decide what has been working for you and what hasn't. I love that you're taking charge of this journey. You're really captaining the ship. It's one of the things I look for when clients are reaching the end of the commitment that we have together, to either encourage them to continue to stay with me, or to ask them, hey, what are your thoughts outside of coaching? What does this look like beyond our relationship in its current format? And then let them decide if they still need some support, or if they feel like they are ready to try other things. So yeah, I think that's a good full circle moment for us on our conversation for today. Any final thoughts or any final questions before we wrap up?
Alex asked something or commented in the chat. I was curious to what you would say to that.
In terms of getting the certification to legitimize yourself, yeah, I mean, I think it is a useful marker uh, to say, hey, I not only have thoughts and opinions on this, I'm also backing my systems that I employ with clients uh, from a reputable source. So that's quite useful. There's also the psychological bonus that you have as a coach, where it's like, I'm not just picking random things that I've found throughout the internet. Uh, Again, I have a system that has been used with hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm adapting it for the people that I want to work with, or I'm adapting it to the style of coaching that I want to do. Uh, right, I believe Alex was saying that they're currently in the early stages of certification, so still within Unit 1, I think, or maybe just crossed into Unit 2. Uh, the good news is, while you progress through kind of the information sections, which are Unit 2 is quite information dense, getting into Unit 3, you get to learn how to apply those things. And one of the best things, like the reason that you bought a certification program and not a nutrition textbook, is because the certification program shows you systems to utilize with clients that we have field tested for many, many years, as opposed to, here are chunks of information, spit those at clients and see what happens. Typically, and I mean, that's what I tried to do for a minute when I started my coaching practice, it doesn't go that well. But when you have systems that you can reproduce over and over again, you get to refine them, and then you can create something that is unique to you and also backed by an organization, and it has much more efficacy behind it. So, uh, legitimizing yourself, being able to say, hey, I'm associated with PN, I think it's great. Mostly fitness people will know what you're talking about. The average person doesn't really concern themselves too much with what is your certification, but you being able to feel confident that what I'm delivering has a strong basis behind it. It's being field tested, and I know that if we run into problems, I have a community who can also help me to help you move through these problems as well. So we don't have to have all the answers on day one. hopefully that is helpful. Thank you, folks, for actually, Raphael, I want to thank you the most for starting this conversation. You gave us a great jumping off point today. And it's great to see so many folks in this early part of the year setting themselves up for success, attending calls like this, and setting the groundwork for their businesses and the success of their clients. So I hope to hear more updates as we move through the year. And we'll call it here for today, folks. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.